What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is brew day number 2 on the channel, and I decided to exercise my brew chops a little bit more with another kit from Northern Brewer. This is their Kolsch. I decided that this time around I'd like to challenge myself a little bit more from last time. One of the things that I want to improve on from the first brew is I want to get our wort chilled a little faster, still without a wort chiller, so we'll stick around for that. And also, a quick little spoiler alert for you. The challenge that I've given myself is I'm going to be fermenting in this time. So due to a series of unfortunate events is what led us here. We'll get into that later, but for the time being, let's get brewing. Here we go. I decided to take advantage of the 15% coupon that I got in my amber ale kit that we did the first time. There was only one option for shipping, and it was like 2-day delivery. I was like, why does this have to be shipped so quickly? Well, come to find out, I didn't realize. I clicked on the Kölsch yeast because I know Kölsch yeast is a different strain than like US-05 or something. It comes chilled. It's a liquid yeast. You keep it in the refrigerator. Fortunately, I wasn't home when this got delivered, so my neighbor snagged it for me. They had a nice little sticker on the box. It says live yeast, refrigerate ASAP. He took care of that for me until I got home. Very nice of him. So yesterday, learning the hard way, didn't do this until the cameras were on. Yesterday, I did not realize the yeast needed to be activated. So in the instructions, it says at least 3 hours. It took far more than 3 hours. When I went to bed last night, it still was looking pretty flat. I wasn't sure if it was alive or not, but this morning I woke up and it was ballooned up, and as I got everything cleaned and sanitized and ready for filming, it actually got so bloated that you'll see it's sitting behind me here. I sanitized the package itself, and it is in a sanitized bowl just in case something happens. It's not going to ruin brew day. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let me show you what we got going on today. So here is our package. Yeast is already out of it. Little different brew today, come to find out. We got our instructions. We got our malt extract syrup, Pilsen. We have dry extract, corn sugar for canning, and 2 different options of hops. So we are not steeping today. There's no grains with this. So that's gonna be interesting. We're just gonna follow the instructions. Not gonna take any liberties today, especially since the only liberties I really took last time were in the steep. So without any further ado, let's get brewing. Okay, so reviewing the instructions, they're written kind of goofy. First step for brewing days, we're going to start with 2.5 gallons of water and bring to a boil. So let's get that going, and then we're going to see if we can organize the steps a little bit. Okay, there's our 2.5 gallons, and we'll just crank her straight up to high heat. Now let's see if we can decipher this a little better. Bring to a boil and add 1 pound Pilsen dry malt extract. Okay, so I'm just going to list this out in order. Dry malt at 0 minutes. Return to boil. Add 1 ounce tradition hops. So that's also at 0 minutes. Add 1 ounce tradition hops and boil for 60 minutes. This is where they lost me. Add 1 ounce Hersbrucker 30 minutes before the end of the boil. so halfway through at 30 minutes. So we're adding Hirschberger at 30 minutes. Add 6 lubs Pilsen malt syrup 15 minutes before the end of the boil. So syrup at 45 minutes. You see how I got lost? It's just, I don't think it's bad instructions. It's just written backwards. The way that I think is more forwards. So we're starting out with dry malt and tradition hops. At the 30-minute mark, we add our Hirschberger hops. We add our syrup at 45 minutes. Okay, that's everything. Cool the wort. Total of 60-minute boil. This is going to go much quicker since we don't have to steep anything. With this yeast, we're not going to pitch it until it's at or below 65 degrees. And then I already gave you a spoiler alert. We're going to ferment this in my upright freezer. A little bit on that real quick. So when I purchased this kit, I was going to make a swamp cooler to ferment this in. This strain of yeast, which is W yeast for Kölsch, it's 2565. And we were going to do some kind of a swamp cooler to keep it chilled so that we don't get weird flavors in our Kölsch. But then I went on vacation. You see where this is going. I went out for 8 days in the camper. I come home to something beeping. It was a beeping that I've never heard before. I've heard all of my smoke detectors and various devices when they run low on battery, but I did not recognize this one. It was my deep freezer. Yeah. I did not shut it all the way, and I threw away about $1,000 worth of food. I'm still a little bitter about it. So I'm going to make myself feel better by brewing beer in it. So we will make it over that way towards the end. Did buy an Inkbird controller. I've been running it for about 2 days, just playing with it, making sure that it's going to work. I got it set up pretty good. I'll show you that towards the end, but I just wanted to share with you that story while we're getting our water up to temperature. So let's just carry on. All right, we've got boilage. Just gonna turn that off for a minute. Slide this over here. In goes our dry malt extract. We get this stirring. And in we go. This is removed from the... Ooh. That smells good. Very good. This is basically pure sugar, so I think this brew is really going to have to be babysat. But it is off the heat right now so that I can ensure that it is good and distributed and dissolved. Move that over here. We're going to bring it back to a boil and then goes in. This is why I made a cheat sheet. Dry malt, bring to a boil, tradition hops. Timer for 30 minutes. Our other hops, timer for 15 minutes. The syrup, another timer for 15 minutes. Chill time. So, put these in order. Let's get this back to a boil, and then hops, and then maintain, and then I think it's time for a Block Party Amber Ale from the first brew. Okay, that didn't take any time at all. We are at a boil. Look at this foamage. So I'm gonna go ahead, decrease the heat. We're at a medium. Just make sure. First hops we add are German tradition hops. This is 1 ounce. alpha acid of 4.7%. So we'll put those in. Ooh, citrusy. Very. I like that. And we're going to stir those in. Let's see here. It seems to be staying at a rolling boil. Doesn't seem to be foaming too much. I'll leave it at that for a little bit. Been a couple of minutes. I actually increased the heat about 10% from 5 to 6. And we got a nice rolling boil. Foaming seems to be under control. That's a good thing. So I thought perhaps, now that I feel comfortable, let's crack a cold one, guys. Pretty dang good. Nice and clear. I mean, as clear as you want for a caramel cover, for an amber colored beer. Super tasty. I'm pleased with it. Took a little while longer to carbonate than I anticipated, but we got there. Actually, you can see I kind of did a heavy pour, a little bit on purpose, a little bit by accident. But no, I'm pleased with where we have this going. Let's go ahead and take a walk. Let me show you what I got for our fermenting process. Alright, so welcome to my enigma of a room. This has been roommates room, guest room, workout room, brew room, storage room, catch-all room. So don't mind anything that looks crappy in here. But behind me is my deep freeze that I accidentally left open for 8 days. Rip. And then, as I was getting ready, like I said earlier, to build a swamp cooler with you guys, I thought, well, shoot, now's your perfect moment to go ahead and try this. Don't start stocking it up with food again. So here's what I did. I ordered this first. This is a Wi-Fi monitor. I have 2 of these now, one on my other fridge, so that when I leave, this will notify my phone so that if this happens again, I can either turn around or call someone to help a guy out. This is just a monitor, it's not a controller. So I was playing with this and notifications, and I was just unplugging the fridge between 58 and 60. And then I decided that was too much work because I might want to leave the house. So I got this Inkbird controller, and I have it set to 58 degrees. You can see here, we actually went below that. And then I have a 2-degree margin, so when this hits 60, it turns it on via this guy here, not using the heating section. But it'll turn the fridge on automatically down to 58, shut off. And it's been running, I've been watching this for 2 days now. Kicks on with nothing in there, no wort, no beer, every hour and 10 minutes. So that's not too bad. Let me show you what I did on the inside. I just cleaned up my mess. And then this is the sensor with the notification thing, and I got this guy just draped off here, and I cut a scrap piece of wood because I didn't know if I wanted to put 5 gallons of beer on that glass. But you see, we just opened the door for a moment and that jumped up a degree, still jumping. So they do make a monitoring version, Wi-Fi version of the Inkbird. I decided not to go with that and save a little bit of money since I already bought this and already had it installed. So I'm pretty confident that this is going to work very well for us. Honestly, really excited. And you can probably tell this is a natural progression into lagering, which I've never been able to do because I never had anything like this. So I may just not have a deep freezer anymore. And that doesn't bother me. So let's get back to our brew. There we go. There's our first half an hour. It's been sitting at 60%. Haven't had to adjust it. So now we are adding Hirschberger hops. An ounce. Alpha acid 5%. Let's get a whiff of these. Okay. I like them. See if we're going to get a flare up. Ooh. These are greener. Give that a good mix. Ooh. It's angry. That's kind of neat. Now a 15-minute timer, which will put us at the 45-minute mark, which then we boil our syrup for 15 minutes. This is going well. Yeah. There we go. 45-minute mark. Doing really well. Have not adjusted the temperature at all. Time for our syrup. I had this in a water bath to kind of help us get drained again. I'm going to try to do a little trick here. Instead of removing it from the heat, we're going to get the old swirl going. We're just going to go nice and slow while constantly stirring. Try to get a little bit more out of there. That'll do. Yeah, it's just a little stained in there. There's nothing really residual. Give it a minute to get back up to a boil before I hit our final 15-minute timer. All right, last 30 seconds of our boil. Doing pretty good. We're still at 6. Until a lot of moisture has evaporated. So it's just about time to go migrate over to the sink. And we're going to see if we can get this cooled down way quicker than last time. I got 2 things to try for that. Let's go ahead and see if it's going to work. Okay. Still using the same sink. I got my thermometer sanitized and ready to go. And behind me here, I've got my big cooler with a big bag of ice this time, not just a small bag of ice. Here's our kettle. I'm going to leave the lid off of it this time to not trap heat. I have more ice, and I have a pitcher of water that's been chilling in the fridge for about 24 hours. So I think the combination of all of these things is going to help us get... I also want to go lower this time because of this strain of yeast starts putting off flavors a little quicker than USO5 like last time. We're not going to pitch yeast until 65 degrees. I'm going to stop there. Let's go ahead and start adding ice. I want to stop before I use up half the bag in case I have to do 2 ice baths. I'm going to stop there. Okay. There we go. Got our ice bath all the way around. Every once in a while we're just going to spin this. And it's melting rapidly, but you have to understand boiling 212 degrees. This is going to heat up pretty quick. It's a pretty large differential. I'll give this a couple of minutes. Bring you back in when we do our second ice bath. Okay, it's been probably about 10 minutes or so. I didn't really pay attention. All of our ice is melted. Our wort is at 123, 124. So it's come down over 70 degrees. I'm going to pour a pitcher of cold water in our brew kettle. I know this is probably not advised, but this is going to help us get cool without a wort chiller. So there's that. Let's see where that took us down to. Yeah, that took us down to 88. So let's go ahead and let's do one more ice bath. If we can get this down to 65 in a grand total of 20 minutes ish, I'll be pleased with that. This water's still pretty cool. I may not drain all of it, honestly. There's that. Go ahead and slide this back in there. Get a little more fresh water. Get our ice ready. I'm going to stop there. There we go. Then I'm just going to go ahead and distribute that. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay. Every once in a while I'm just going to come in here and jostle it. Give it, it's 3:05. Give it another 10 minutes since I think it was 10 minutes. I'll feel really good if we get to 65 in 20 minutes total. Okay, there's the end of our 10 minutes. Our ice is not melted all the way. I've just kind of been slurrying it around here, and check this out. Not only have we made 65, let me hit this lock button. We far succeeded my expectations. We're at 63.3. So let's go ahead and I'm going to get you migrated, and we're about to get this into the fermenter and then into our freezer. Hey, there we go. Wort chilled below 65 degrees. I'm using my secondary fermenter this time as the primary. I'm not a fan of fermenting in a bottling bucket. Too much shit can go wrong. I'm just not interested in fussing with that. I'm I'm going to order another one of these when we transfer into the secondary, since this is the only one that I have. And then I'd like to find 2 of my favorite primaries. So that way I'll have 2, 2, and 2. Primary, secondary, and bottling buckets. Really ramp up production. So we don't have to worry about leaving the faucet on like last time. So let's go ahead, pour this in, get this filled up to the 5-gallon mark. Right there. Pitch our yeast. Seal her up. Airlock it. Put it in the freezer. That's pretty neat. Never done that before. So here we go. And we're going to stop when the sludge starts coming out. We don't need that. Ew. I don't want that. So there's our 5 mark. I can see it on the other side. And we're just going to start bringing in some cool water. Here's a gallon. Looks like we need about another half. That's probably at least enough. If not, I'll grab more. Oh, there we go. Made it the 5-gallon mark. It's pretty aerated already because of the way that I poured it. But I'm going to go ahead and just agitate this. Real quick. And now, let's pop into this bloated boy. Look at that. The thing is swelling. Pitch, sanitize package, shake vigorously again. Wait, maintain temperature. Yeah. So we give it a shake. Ready? Okay. Yeasty for sure. Well, I can see the crush buckets there, the crush tabs. We don't want those in there. So I got them pinched between my middle finger and my thumb. There we go. Oh man, that actually smells really good. Is this my new favorite yeast? I don't know. Anyway, let's get this guy sealed off. Sanitized lid. Handle, put the handle back there. And the airlock over here. Locked. This is my favorite airlock. I think I explained that in the last brew day video. Saved back some sanitizer in a mason jar. Oh, this is going to be a terrible mess. I gotta find a better way to do this. Yep, over the sink it is. Okay, filled up to the fill line. Place this in there. I'm actually going to leave the gasket out of here until I'm done carrying it so that it can't suck anything in. Make sure it's good and sealed. This is going into the freezer I was showing you for 2 weeks. I'm just going to leave it for 2 weeks. Keep an eye on it. I'm going to do some research on what this yeast can do in the meantime. And I think in 2 weeks we're going to move this to a secondary, another secondary that I have to order. and we're going to lager it a little bit in the secondary, really clean it up, see if we can get a nice clear brew. Yeah, guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you for hanging out with me this week on my second brew, my first ever Kolsch. Had a lot of fun. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves as well. I'll see you on the next one where we move this to the secondary. See you guys.